Have you ever found yourself in a relationship and thought, why does this feel so hard? Not just once, but repeatedly. Different person, same tension, different situation, same emotional reaction. You want connection, you want trust, you want something stable and real. But somehow things keep becoming complicated, distant, or painful. So the question becomes, is it possible that something from your past is still shaping your relationships today? The short answer, yes, but not in the way you think. Childhood experiences can absolutely influence your adult relationships, but not because they ruin you, and not because something is permanently broken. It's because those early experiences shape how your system understands connection. Before you had the ability to analyze or question anything, you were learning. Learning what love feels like, what safety feels like, what connection looks like, and those early impressions become your internal blueprint. How the blueprint is formed. In childhood, your environment teaches you how to relate to others, not through logic, but through experience. If your environment included consistent love and support, emotional safety, healthy communication, then your system likely learned that connection is safe. But if your experience included emotional distance, conflict or instability, criticism or rejection, lack of attention or presence, then your system adapted. It learned how to function in that environment, and those adaptations don't just disappear, they become patterns. The patterns you carry into adulthood. As an adult, you might think you're making conscious choices in relationships, but underneath that, your system is operating from what it learned early on. That's why you might feel anxious when things are going well, pull away when someone gets too close, overreact to small situations, struggle to trust, or feel disconnected, even when you're not alone. These aren't random behaviors. They are responses shaped by past experiences. When the past shows up in the present, here's where it gets important. In relationships, you're not just interacting with another person, you're interacting through your internal patterns. So when something happens, a tone of voice, a delay in communication, a disagreement, your reaction isn't just about that moment. It's influenced by everything your system associates with it. That's why something small can feel so big, because it's connected to something deeper. Why it feels like the same story repeats. Many people notice a pattern. I keep ending up in the same kind of relationship, or the same problems keep happening. This isn't coincidence. Your system is drawn to what feels familiar, even if that familiarity includes discomfort, because familiar equals predictable. And predictable feels safe. So you may unconsciously recreate dynamics that match your early experiences, not because you want them, but because your system recognizes them. It can go deeper than personal experience. Now let's expand this perspective. Some of the patterns you carry may not come only from your direct childhood experience. Family systems often carry emotional patterns across generations, things like trauma, fear, loss, conflict, emotional suppression. These experiences shape how families function, and when you grow up in that environment, you inherit not just behaviors, but emotional tendencies. So what you're experiencing in relationships may be part of a larger pattern. Why trying harder doesn't fix it? At this point, you might be thinking, okay, I see the pattern. So how do I change it? And this is where many people get stuck, because they try to fix it on the surface. They try to communicate better, control their reactions, be more patient, choose different partners, and while those efforts matter, they often don't go deep enough, because the root of the issue isn't just in your behavior, it's in how your system responds. The deeper layer of trauma, childhood trauma, isn't just about what happened, it's about how your system adapted to what happened. Those adaptations can include being hyper-aware of others, avoiding conflict at all costs, shutting down emotionally, seeking approval or validation. And while these responses may have helped you at the time, they can create challenges in adult relationships because they're no longer aligned with what you need now. What needs to change? If the pattern exists at a deeper level, then the shift has to happen there too. It's not about forcing yourself to behave differently. It's about allowing your system to release what it's been holding on to no longer react from past imprints, to experience connection in a new way. And when that begins to happen, everything changes. What healthy connection starts to feel like. When those patterns begin to shift, relationships feel different. You feel more at ease, less reactive, more present, more open. You're not constantly scanning for problems. You're not bracing for something to go wrong. You're simply there. And that creates space for real connection. You're not broken. This is important. If you've struggled in relationships, it's easy to think something is wrong with you. But what you're experiencing is not a flaw. It's a pattern that made sense at some point in your life. And what was learned can be unlearned. What was carried can be released. Final thought. Childhood trauma doesn't have to ruin your adult relationships, but it can influence them until you begin to understand and address it. The patterns you're experiencing aren't random. They're part of a deeper structure. And once you start seeing that structure clearly, you're no longer trapped in it. You're in a position to change it. If this gave you a new perspective, subscribe to the channel, because here we go deeper into understanding the hidden patterns that shape your relationships, emotions, and life experience. And if you're ready to explore how these patterns can actually be addressed at their root, the level where they truly exist, there's more for you. You'll find a resource in the description and in the pinned comment that connects directly to what we talked about today and shows a deeper way of working with these patterns. If you've been wondering whether your past is still affecting your relationships, that's where you can begin to understand what to do about it.